Hi there guys. Have you ever heard about food combining? Nowadays it's a topic that actually come up quite often, especially when you go into detox programs or you just really want to look after your body and make a significant difference, lose the weight or feeling healthier and more energetic. Food combining is actually what we put down in our stomach while we eat. Now, let me go back to give you a bit of a tip, an historical tip. When we were like millions and millions of years ago, when we were foraging for food, we would walk kilometers and kilometers till we would find a plant with some fruit. We would stop and just eat as many fruit as we could to fill ourselves up, because we didn't know when the next meal was, and then we kept going. Now we actually adapt and develop our digestive system to be a mono meal absorber. We were in fact introducing mostly one, maximum two whole ingredients, whole foods at the time. So for our body it was really simple and easy to assimilate and to understand and process these foods because they were mostly looking the same and they were absolutely entire in their nutritional values and properties. Then of course with the industrial revolution and with these modern times we start putting all these what they call it technological additives into foods and start adding so many ingredients. Now it's not uncommon finding a dish with 10-15 ingredients plus dressing. So this makes our body works much harder because he's based on simplicity, and because we always shovel down things that are much harder to digest, our body of course struggle. Now I want to tell you this as well because this is important. The first principle is simplicity, as we already just addressed. The second one is whole foods. So whole foods means everything that is not processed, that comes from nature as the closest form than when it comes from nature. Now there are different absorption time comparing to what you eat. For example, the quickest things that get absorbed, of course, is water. It takes around 50 minutes to get filtered through our stomach membranes. Then there's juice or watery fruit, between 20-25 minutes. Then there's vegetable, around 30 minutes. And then there's non-processed carbs, between 2 and 2.5 hours. And then high processed carbs, of course, 3 hours, and a protein, of course, everything deriving from animals, proteins, 3 hours plus, which can go up to 5 hours. Now, it's really important, having said that is the same principle you follow when you, for example, wash your clothes. Let's say you wash your clothes and you're using the sink. You don't put like solid material first and then you open the water, otherwise what happened? The tube clogs, right? That's the same thing in the stomach. Before each meal you should drink around some water if you feel thirsty, around 15-20 minutes before. But when you actually having your meal, you shouldn't drink anything, because if you pour water into the food, the solid food, you pour all this liquid that is going to slow down, because there's a different level of density of the two components. So what happens if your stomach is trying to digest food first, and then you have a sip of water and you flush down all this water, all this liquid, the stomach will stop digest the heavy food and go back to absorb the water. So it's a bit kind of if it's like you're driving your car and you just accelerating, changing the gear, and then pull the handbrake on the highway. It doesn't really make sense. Like, the car is not designed to do that. So that's the same thing with our body. Now, optimally, the food should take between 17 to 24 hours from mouth to anus. So in an optimal digestive system, that's the optimal time. And also another really important thing, when the optimal digestive system and our waste system is so good, every time we have meals, we should go out and evacuate. Every time. The faces should look not too hard. It should be so easy and absolutely effortlessly. So if it's too easy, means there's a bit of diarrhea. If it's too effortless, constipation. They're both not good. They should just flow easy. Everything is supposed to be simple according to Mother Nature. Now, there's also another really important thing. Consider the size of the stomach, and when it's empty, is a kind of a fist size. When it's expanding, it's an elastic bag, and it can expand up to 1.5 liters. So imagine that it gets really big. Now, I'm gonna touch a point according to the last meal of the day. In fact, in the evening cycle, according to Ayurveda, and that's a thing that anyway I will touch within the next videos, it's important that the last meal of the day is light and includes food easy to digest and not heavy portion. In fact, what happens, we want to lie down and go to bed with all the food that has been gone through the stomach. Nothing should stay in our stomach. Everything should be digested and be in our rectum first, okay? So, what happens if you don't do it? If you don't do it, you might burp, you might feel bloated, you might feel heaviness under the chest, which is not even good for the heart either. And all these different things could be headache, could be feeling sluggish and waking up in the morning with maybe black circle under the eyes, or white spot under the eyes, or maybe heaviness, dullness. That's the thing. So all these things that I'm telling you, they are much more important than the actual diet you're having, considering of course whole foods. I'm not even talking about high processed food that is considered non-food. So everything considered highly processed, highly in chemicals and whatever, preservative and colorings, and this is not even considered food. The timing is Mother Nature law. It's really important. More than what you do is when you do it. And if you do it right, when you follow the simple step of your digestion, you start combining the food with the less density of stuff from the liquid, wait, they are absorbed, and then you go to a higher dense food, and you introduce whole nutrients in your body, and you listen to the signal that your body is constantly telling you, it won't be any problem, and it won't be any complaint. In fact, that's the rule, and that's what happened to many people that they wanted to lose weight. They wanted to lose weight, and they tried thousands diet, they tried to eat everything and change the food, but they were really frustrated because nothing changed in their weight. Well, no wonder. They were absolutely doing the wrong food combination. The wrong food combination is the first thing I can tell you that can make you bloated. One also little extra I'll give you guys about this. Let's say for example you're having a pizza, you see, so you got an animal protein over there, which is the cheese, and then you have a high refined carb, because pizza most of the time it's white flour, right? So altogether you already understand that it's not really matchable. It's not really matchable. The stomach will have a massive amount of work to do to digest and to break down each single element. So I'd rather suggest you have a vegan pizza with vegetable. You have your dough with vegetable, but don't associate. Another really bad association that many people do is having meat with pasta or meat with any sort of carbs. If you want to have your main meal of the day, start with a cleansing salad, or even drinking a juice, a raw salad, which introduce fiber, phytonutrients, life force, and they can stimulate the bowels movement. And then after that, transition to slightly heavier food. Having said that, I hope this is of much help to you. Please share it, and I'll see you next time.